There was a time you could scroll your feed and only worry about seeing stuff like Karen meltdowns and whatever the president did this time. Now you're being stared down like prey by a rabbit demon hybrid with teeth sharp enough to qualify for a TSA screening. I've seen horror movies with less threatening aura. Labubu looks like it knew what you did last summer. If you've been on the internet for the past month, you've seen or at least heard of Labubus. If not, how do I become you? Can we trade? Can we trade lives, please? These furry little demons have been haunting my nightmares. These things sound like a French kid telling their mom they scraped their leg. Maman, j'ai un le boubou. Tell me that's not a French kid telling their mom they got hurt. So let's start at the beginning. Hong Kong artist Kai Sing Luang, which I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, was inspired by Nordic folklore he enjoyed as a child, which sparked him to create the iconic Labubus in 2015 with the help of How To Work. Pop Mart would collaborate with him 4 years later, which granted more, but not obsessive following of the dolls. They come in a blind bag format, and if there's something humans love, it's mystery. In said mystery boxes, they have a chance for rares, which are about 1 in 72. It's basically like gambling, but for kids. Think of Pokemon cards. Somewhere down south, a Vegas executive is slamming his fist on the table, yelling, "Why didn't I think of that?" At the time of this video, there are over 300 different Labubu varieties. These little rabbit things were popularized after Lisa from Blackpink was seen wearing one on her bag in early 2024. This would spark a trend in Asian countries like Thailand and China. Celebrities in America would endorse these, and they would show up on social media, and the rest is history. From celebrities' purses to Karl Marx's grave, they are everywhere. Now, much like those who proclaim everything they don't like is communism, I also don't really know the meaning of it, but I'm pretty sure Labubus and hyper consumption isn't exactly what Karl Marx was thinking of when he wrote Das Kapital. You feel? These things are $37.99. Sorry about that, but my credit score decreased just thinking of that. Dubai chocolate move over. A new overpriced fad is at the towers. If you're American, I'm sorry. I really wish you the best. I hope you get better soon. In American currency, it's $26.94 for you guys because the Canadian dollar is the bottom of currencies. So the Boo-Boos come in different variations from the original to Coca-Cola themed ones, varying in price depending on which one you get. There is absolutely a conversation to be held on the ethical ramifications of the Labubu craze with the overconsumption of them and buying them just because everyone else is. FOMO's a real thing, and this goes to prove it once again. We are in the golden age of buying things just because we can. Minimalism died and was beaten with hammers repeatedly into a fine powder when people buy 20 Labubus and call it an investment portfolio. Pop Mart has seen a 350% profit from the first half of this year alone, just from how much people are buying these. They're out of stock online on their website, and people are lining up for hours to get their hands on one. It restocked weekly at 10 a.m. at their Pop Mart stores on Fridays, and 9 p.m. on Thursday online, which are quickly selling out. So if you want one, you have to move fast. The CEO of Pop Mart, Wang Ying, which I also hope I'm pronouncing correctly, has watched his net worth go from 1.8 billion in 2024 to 22 billion. Move over Elon Musk, there's a new billionaire in town. But this time, instead of weird-looking cars, we have weird-looking bunny creatures, arguably with less pedestrian deaths. No doubt these things are going to be the LeBron James of the dump in a few years. Also, could you imagine like 50 to 60 years down the line being nostalgic about these? Back in my day, we collected haunted rodents and mystery boxes and we liked it, damn it. Honestly, I don't even want to think about the stuff that we'll be nostalgic for because it's hurting my brain. As with every super hot trending item, fake skin to close in. Affectionately named Lafufus, these dolls are not officially licensed, but rather bought from places like Shein, Temu, Amazon, Alibaba, etc. Some look pretty good and are virtually indistinguishable from the real ones, while others look like they live in the sewers and smoke menthols. These go for around 9 to 18 USD, which is considerably cheaper and gets more people into this fuck-ass trend. Hell, even raves near me are advertising Labubu raves, where they give away a Labubu every 30 minutes to get people to go. Like, this is the rave scene in 2025. I hope we leave this in 2025. Remember when everyone wanted a Squishmallow, or like when NFTs were a thing and people genuinely believed that a monkey baring his teeth in a wacky outfit was the gateway to financial freedom? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Labubu is the new flavor of soon-to-be financial regret. Much like every item we arbitrarily has value, these things are being resold for higher prices. Sneakerheads walk so that Labubu resellers could run. I think that's a brand new sentence. I don't think anyone's ever said that. These can be from a couple hundred to even over $10,000. That's like how much I spend in rent for 8 months. I feel like if you spend $10,000 on a Labubu, just immediately go to jail. Just you're arrested on site. A rare Labubu wearing Vans merchandise just recently sold online for $10,500, 125 times its original price of $85. Imagine explaining that to a Victorian child. You could have bought a nice used car. Yes, they exist. a tiny wedding, or a week's rent in Vancouver, but no. Let's just buy a freaky little rodent with bands. Another reseller sold their secret edition Catch Me If You Can Labubu for $2,000 online. These are basically the Beanie Babies of the 2020s, except instead of collect calls and dial-up internet, we have AI scam callers and the dead internet theory. Although not a keychain itself, a first edition 51-inch Labubu figurine was sold at a rare toy auction in Beijing for 1.08 million yuan, which would be $150,325 American. Of the toys being auctioned off at Yongle International Auction House, 47 other Labubus were sold, another one being sold for $144,086. This 63-inch Labubu showed that bigger is not always better. Also, can we talk about that for a second? 63 inches? That is my exact height. I could not imagine waking up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, and being face to face with a Labubu. That's a horror movie just waiting to be written. At that point, you're not even a toy anymore. You're a person. You're going on the lease. You're paying rent. Many people choose to customize their Labubus by making or buying clothes for them, or even buying cases to protect them. There's probably a Labubu out there with a tiny vape pen and iced coffee and commitment issues, and honestly, same. Now, I might be biased because I'm native, but this? I love this. Res Boobos? Fuck yeah. Scrappy Res Dog and Bannock not included. Now, with great popularity comes even greater memes. This lady in particular is who we're going to be talking about. TikToker Lily Feltham, or Liz Bulls Official.
I have the one and only 24 karat gold Labubu.
24K Labubu meme is everywhere, from people drawing characters from their favorite shows holding their Labubus, 24 carats or not, to some guy actually doing this in reverse and showing off the world's one and only 24 karat girl.
Hello, it is me, the 24 karat Labubu, and I'm happy to announce that I am the sole owner of the world's one and only 24 karat human.
Also, this script was written on October 27th, which I know I'm lazy. My November was so busy I couldn't even film. But I originally wrote that the worst person you know is going to be dressed as a Labubu for Halloween. I went to a gay bar for Halloween. There were 2 people dressed as Labubus. 2! Take that as you will. But anyways, Lily made some haha funnies by making more videos, like saying she was the owner of the world's one and only invisible Labubu. The follow-up to the viral video where she used a gold tester and it made the grinder notification, which, if you don't know, is when a Republican wife pretends not to hear from her husband's phone at midnight. These videos would get a crazy amount of likes and views, with the original garnering 49.3 million views and 4.1 million likes. Now, this isn't what I wanted to talk about. It's this. Yep, you saw that right. That was a Trudeau Labubu. Yep, you saw that right. That was indeed a blackface Labubu. You know, the same kind of blackface that racist people use to mock African Americans throughout minstrel shows and other media? Why she thought this was a good idea, I have no clue. Going with her usual stick of being the one and only owner of insert Labubu here, she proclaimed that she was the owner of the one and only KSI Labubu. Yeah, you can see why this went viral for the wrong reasons. For those of you who don't know who KSI is, once again, how do I become you? He's a British YouTuber, boxer, and musician, who, if you haven't deduced already, is black. The Labubu is wearing a red bandana, of which is his signature accessory, for a good reason. The post was quickly deleted and an apology was issued, but much like an elephant, the internet never forgets. People were quick to re-upload and rightfully shame Lily. In her apology, she states that she never meant to offend, which I have a difficult time believing, because even though the Washington Redskins imply that my skin is red, which it isn't, being black usually does not mean your skin is black. You see that? No red. I only get red when I'm angry. Like when people tell me not to touch the Res Dogs because they have rabies. If I'm not supposed to pet it, why is it shaped like I'm supposed to pet it? But in an era where attention equals currency, maybe she did all this for show. I hope the TikTok bucks were worth it, because in a job interview, they're going to look up your name and they're going to know you as the blackface Labubu girl. That's not an internet footprint, that's an internet crater. Even sparking a 4 to 5 minute anime adaptation in the coming months. Who knows, we could be 3 years away from the Labubu cinematic universe. My favorite part will be when Labubu waddles on screen and says, "It's Labubuing time," and Labubu's everywhere. Have you ever wanted a toy that was like the Brothers Grimm having anxiety and access to mass-produced sweatshops? Well, look no further. Labubu is your calling. Labubu is here for you. So yeah, that was me yapping about Labubus. What do y'all think? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comment section. And also feel free to like and subscribe to join the duck pond. Good night, everyone. Also, this was my first YouTube video and I'm ever sick. I tested positive for both.